September 12th. Um, I would say yesterday was very interesting. Um, to go from a day of remembering so much loss and then going back into the next following day into so much of a bigger of an energy that's a little bit more volatile. It's very interesting just to know that how fast the gears always switch within being in a capitalistic society. As it's saying, you go from a space of like remembering the moment, or you go from the holiday energy all the way right back into the war-based capitalistic entrepreneurship world of trying to make sure it all makes sense. Um, I'm in a place of just remembering how fortunate I am, because every time where I feel like I'm losing my center, I forget that I've been in these situations so many times that I can constantly figure out. I can almost without end always remember how to remain and come back to source, because source is such a thing that's always just blessing me in certain ways that I'm just so astonished with the fact that life just keeps blessing me the way it does, and it's being fortunate that everything will work out in my favor, and no matter how long it takes, even though it's taking longer than I prefer, but life is life. You have to be able to ride the tide of life. So as it's saying that if you can remember just how fortunate you are of things in your life, you'll always remember that there are always more blessings coming upon the road. So as I'm remembering those who fell yesterday years ago, I want to take a second just to remember how appreciative and fortunate I need to be for my life. And no matter what I'm going through, no matter what life is seeming to be throwing at me, I know that there's always someone who's going through a little bit less fortunate of a situation than me. Because I have a roof over my head, I have clothes on my back, and I have a little bit of money in my pocket. So I have to always be fortunate in the things I do have. The earthly situations that I have are challenging, but for the facade of what appears to be isn't bad. What I mean, what appears to be is just knowing that my life appears to be always like, such a glamorous situation, because I can find ways of finding the importance of every moment. And knowing the importance of every moment makes it a little bit easier to remember, what is actually matters in life, what is vital to my survival of thriving mentally and physically and also spiritually. Because spiritually, I'm in a place where no one can really get to but me. So people are using me as a roadmap, or I would say as sometimes like a doormat to get to places that they haven't done the work to get to. And what I always tell people is you have to do the work. You can't just use someone else as an ascension stone. You're supposed to learn upon the lessons that you're supposed to, transmute and fix the situation of. Because I can always find ways of finding a good light of every moment. It's a little easier for me to find my way back to source. As it's saying, source is always going to figure out how to keep me in the moment, because I've been through so much worse, and I know that how much better is on the path and on the journey for me if I allow myself to just keep going down the path of just trusting the Creator, and knowing that the Creator is always going to be there to help me figure it out. And as it's saying that, I know that no matter what I'm seeing or what I'm experiencing isn't the real world that's really happening. So it's more of saying that no matter how bad things seem to be within the world of being woke, within the world of being a great person, it's easier, because if you're a great person, things just always align with where you're trying to go. So if they can align with where you're trying to go, it's easier for things to work. You just have to always be in the space of giving And as you give, you will get back. Just not always in the same fortitude that you deserve at the moment that you want. So as in saying that, you have to remember that the reality that we're experiencing right now is not the true reality, meaning that there are still a lot of people who are like, how do you say it? There's a lot of people who are still moving in ways of getting in other people's space that they shouldn't be in. So as it's saying that spiritually, I should already be like in a place where I'm meditating at least like 10 to 12 hours a day, not in factories, not in warehouses, not in buildings that spirits don't coincide with what I'm trying to bring forward to this planet. And it's not that I'm trying to bring forward anything that is detrimental for the planet. It's just people are scared of change. People are afraid of anything that brings us to a new level of enlightenment, because that enlightenment will bring people out of the darkness of the things that they were once harvesting and not harvesting, harboring and hoarding. For me, I don't get the chance to really hoard anything, because life is it's always showing me that there's so much more that I have to do. There's so much more that I need to experience. There's so much more that I need to keep in a space of growth, and in a space of just knowing that life always gets better if you allow it to. So the more that you try to instill yourself upon the world, the harder it's going to be for you. And that's why I'm never actually trying to be the person who is like pushing the pace. Even if I come into the day late, it's almost like, okay, what do you need here? What do you need there? Like, you know, like they say, God gives you all the ingredients for the cake. Can you at least find the oven and be able to turn it on? Can you at least find, you know, all the bowls and materials, that the measurements, the things that you need that God doesn't give you, the things that you're supposed to put into it. You know, all the tools that you're supposed to have, that when the good is already there, you can provide the service for. And it's very interesting being in this space where people are seeing things from an aspect that don't actually exist. Like for me, I create these euphoric situations, these spaces for people to find peace within themselves, and I find myself back in the pits of their own abyss that they have not found space to relieve themselves from. So it's one of those things where no matter how much work that I do, I'm always still going to be given the return of the burdens of others. And I don't mind the burdens. I'm just like, you know, can I get a better standpoint for the things that I want to experience? Because I have strength doesn't mean that I should always be experiencing what other people have to clear upon themselves. It's not my job to clean other people's rooms all the time, but I don't mind working. I just want to get paid, as we all do. And like I say, like, there's still the Winnie the Pooh effect going on, people just getting off on the nectar or the sweet prana that you're putting out, but they don't want to like tune themselves into your higher knowledge, your higher way of experiencing reality. So it's as in knowing that no matter how much work you do, there's going to be people who are going to say that they have already been through it, they've already done it, but if you've already done it, you would have graduated to certain places in reality in which things would have made work for you. So now it's just like we're at a space where during any mutable season, people are using us as like gatekeepers or people who can open access certain levels of consciousness that people who don't have the heart space, because they're manipulating those who are doing the work to enter areas of life that they're not supposed to be in. And it's like, it almost comes off as like So what gives you the authority in saying that you should be there? It's not that, it's the vision, it's the sight. A lot of people, they don't want to do the work of actually like being someone who's told wrong for their vision. But for those who do, you're openly critiqued for everything you do because you're being placed in a space that only you can dictate and create. So it's like you're speaking on something that you don't know nothing about, but because you have a certain level of accessing my space, you're pretending that you still deserve to be within my energy or in my space. So it's hard to tell people like it's a thing where people are illegally watching you and stalking you, which is called gang stalking. They're remote viewing you and able to access your energy at certain times, in which people that don't stand up for themselves, it's not to say they just roll over and accept reality. They're going to judge you upon the things that you do, but they're not going to tell people that I don't prefer you to be all up in my space like this. So it's like I don't gossip with people. I don't play the game with people. I don't do none of that. I'm just honest in saying that the world that people are being presented, or the world that people have manufactured for me, isn't my desired timeline. So can I go back to where I'm trying to co-create and coexist with people who understand and see things from my aspect, and not the people who are on the payroll from literally shadow governments trying to impoverish people who are doing the work. And that's where it's just like, once you get it, you get it. And once you stop getting it, you'll never get it again. So it's a lot of, are you willing to do the work to get to the desired outcome? Like, I didn't have to get up. Like, I pretty much got out of bed maybe 9 o'clock, played, just, sat around, meditated for a couple hours, left around 3, just ran about like 2+ miles. I didn't even have to do it, but I did it because I knew I needed to detox my spirit upon the path that other people are walking that is not bringing us to certain states of enlightenment. Because I'm not trying to go where other people are going, because I've already seen down the roads that they're going, because they're all literally the same person trying to experience somebody else's level of fortitude or freedom that they have access. You haven't done the work, and you don't have the heart space to get there because you've been through so many different like humiliating situations that you can't find God and find the peace in that situation, and find the resolution in that situation to ascend past the things that you've already experienced. So it takes a lot of hard work that a lot of people aren't willing to do. And once you've done that work, you're not going to try to keep experiencing things that other people have been upon. Like, I don't want to keep walking down a path that is already, it's not saying that it's beaten, we've done it, It's like, how many times are you going to hit me with a certain situation that I've already ascended past before you come to the certain aspect of like, why am I repeating something that benefits people that aren't in the right of their own spirit? Like I said, everybody has a bad mind, but how is your spirit? How is your heart? What are you following? Are you strong enough to let your heart guide you on the battlefield, or are you still allowing your instincts to take over? Like I said, instincts is man-made, intuition is God-given. Everybody has the ability of intuition, but how many people actually use it? And for that same intuition, how much is your intuition actually yours and not upon the people and the things in your environment dictating what your intuition should be tuned to? So, take your time, figure out life, man. Don't rush it, because it's yours. It's yours to be experienced. It's no one else's but yours. So align with where you're trying to go and leave all the extra alone. Anu out.